There's something about wax seals that feels so official. I'm a fan of period piece dramas, both of the medieval and Regal Britannia variety, so I get doubly excited over the prospect of using wax seals. Well, I'm getting married next year, and I felt like this would be the perfect opportunity to take a stab at creating a crest and putting a stamp of my own on my save the date cards. I'm partnering with Nostalgic Impressions to fully test out the crest to stamp to wax seal pipeline. Plus, I wanted to run a little bit of a scientific experiment of my own to see which is more durable between their traditional wax seals and their more contemporary glue gun waxes. I need these envelopes to hold up in the mail after all. So let's get started. The first thing we need is a design for the crest. I had one in mind, and if you're interested, I can make a whole video about how I created this. I promise you, no matter what your skill level is, you can create a similar crest yourself. But Nostalgic Impressions also offers to design crests for you in addition to a bunch of pre-made options, which are probably a bit more optimized for the wax stamp format compared to my homemade monstrosity. The first thing I did was send my design to their in-house designers. After looking it over, they sent me back a proof with some notes on how I could improve the waxification of my design. For a few rounds of edits later, we decided that the best expression of this particular design would be a 40mm stamped diameter. This is a little larger than most seals, but I was totally on board and I ended up loving the results. Soon after the design process, this wonderful package arrived in the mail with all the components needed for my seal. I went with the Bordeaux color of wax because I'm going for a timeless romance vibe, but Nostalgic Impressions truly has a color for any aesthetic. Like I said earlier, they have two options for wax seals. Traditional wax melts that you kind of freebase into liquid using a candle in this brass cauldron on a stick, and wax glue stick inserts. But which of the two makes the most mailable masterpieces? It's time to see how each holds up under the tumultuous ether that is the mailing process. I've devised a few tests that mimic conditions it might encounter while being delivered, and I'm going to give each wax type a pass or fail score for each test. The most important function an envelope needs to accomplish in the mail is staying shut. So my first test examines how well each wax adheres to the paper and keeps the envelope closed. After letting the wax dry, I attempted to force each envelope open with increasing intensities. Both wax types were decidedly not going anywhere. It actually required ripping the paper to get the wax off. Very impressive, and good luck to anyone else opening these later, I guess. Needless to say, both passed the adhesion test with flying colors. Another danger the seal might face is the unimaginable weight of other people's mail piled on top of it during delivery. To mimic this compressive force, I both laid and smashed each wax seal with 15 and 30 pound iron weights. The results were surprisingly great, actually. Neither wax type sustained any damage at all, despite me being quite brutal with my ironwork. So both passed the compression test. The final experiments tested whether each wax type could handle the elements it would invariably encounter on its way to my guests. The first being extreme heat. I live in Los Angeles after all, and second being rain, which happens approximately 4 days a year here, but I just want to cover my bases. For the heat test, I left both wax types out in the California sun for 60 minutes on one of the hottest days of the summer. Checking in at 30 minutes, both wax types were unaffected, and coming back after a full hour, the waxes were warm from the sun, but clearly had not hit anything close to their melting points. It's safe to say that these could hold up on a porch for quite a while before the recipients picked them up, and they would be completely fine. So both pass. And finally, the test of hydrophobicity, or in other words, seeing how waterproof these babies are. I'll make this one quick. The envelopes would disintegrate in the rain before anything happens to the wax seals themselves. They both pass with flying colors. So in conclusion, you could pick either wax type and feel safe sending these out in the mail. I would personally recommend the glue gun wax if you have to do a large batch of seals, just because it's generally faster to create, but the freebase method does result in a bit more of an aesthetic seal with a classic old world vibe. If you're planning a wedding or any seal-worthy event, I highly recommend using wax seals. The entire process with Nostalgic Impressions was really simple, and at the end of the day, the result really elevated my save the dates. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to keep an eye out for more wedding-inspired videos on my account, including including a potential seal creation tutorial. And Nostalgic Impressions is offering 10% off all new customer orders with code GREG10. So now is the best time to get your own wax seal. Check them out. Until next time, I'll see you later.